We are back. It's our final segment this morning with Ron Johnson. He is the coordinator for the Mayor's Community Safety Board. Just taking a lot of calls, and it's heartening to see this many people have an interest in this, or at least to talk or ask questions about where this board is going to go. We've got a few more calls for you here. Let's see if we can get next. I think Carol's on line 4. Are you there, Carol?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about the violence and the gangs in Nashville. I'm a vet. I have fellow vets that their sons work down at the border. And he was informing us the other day that these immigrants that are being moved around the U.S. have ties to the cartels in Los 13 or some Mexican gang down there. And they're just shipping them up here to Tennessee. All of Tennessee has to worry about this. And all the nation. What do we do about things like this? They're letting the immigrants in, and part of them are gangbangers that are going to just come into our state.
Well, I mean, we've heard reports of this. Are some of the folks that come across, criminals? Maybe some. Do we already have gangbangers and criminals here before they even got here? Heck yes. I don't put much stock in that. I'm sorry, I just don't. Let's go next to Rose. Rose, good morning. What's on your mind, Rose?
I'm a retired school teacher, and one of the things that I've seen with students that misbehaved in school was, if I got to the core of the problems, it could be problems at home, but a lot of it was reading. They lack the reading skills, and the way they cover it up is through bad behavior. And I do believe that if every city would have some sort of structured reading program or skill development program, that would help a lot with the violence, because if you can't read, you can't get a job, you're going to be insecure, you have to resort to other things to cover up the fact that you can't read. And that's just, I'm telling you, I think that's one of the biggest problems with inner city kids. Some of them just did not get that education completed, and that insecurity just causes more problems.
There's no question. Yeah. I think she makes a great point. We didn't talk about education, and she hits it. If you can't read, you're dead in the water.
Well, I mean, I hate to kind of beat the drum, but when you think about, there's just so many things that have been part of the systematic ways of things that we have had and seen in our country, unfortunately. But at the same time, we have parents that can't help their kids do their homework. And those are some of the unfortunate things. But we have organizations and groups and programs. People that are leading those groups and programs will tell you that they had some of the same issues. But one of the things that I know that we can do is to help kids become more socially. So if you can't read, maybe you can become a little bit more, we can help you become a little bit more socially adapt to being able to socialize, because I truly believe the enemy is the inner me. The things that we wrestle the most is what's going on inside of us, and then what ends up happening is us acting out on how we feel inside. And it's kind of like, if I can't read, if I can't do this, if I don't have this and I don't have that, what am I going to do? Am I going to take it?
Right.
But if we can help you deal with that person, and I'm hoping that we can create a reflection for not only young people, but a parent too, to see themselves for who they are and get the help that they need.
Well, you're right. Part of it is the parents helping the kids. But do you imagine, and I haven't checked on this recently through juvenile court or otherwise, truancy, the issue of that. I mean, a lot of times I see these kids getting picked up for carjackings and stuff, and they're happening in the middle of the afternoon when they should be in school. So I'm just wondering if even cracking down on the idea of truancy and making sure kids go to school and holding their parents accountable. So look, you may not help them with their homework, but you make darn sure they get to class.
Yeah, those are real, all of that is pretty sketchy, because imagine if a parent, she's got to be at work at 6 o'clock.
Right.
And
she has no choice. She
got to
hopes
get
they
the
go to
little
school.
ones together and take them to daycare. And then the one 13, 14 years old,
left to himself,
expect that he's up, he's going to go. But imagine if he didn't get breakfast, didn't get anything to eat.
I know.
So he's irritated, all of those things. And then he gets to school and he has a pretty bad day with the teacher because he's irritated about what he didn't have. The teacher sends him to the office. He gets in school, maybe an in-school, out-of-school suspension. No one's able to come pick. All of those things are dominoes of trauma. But that is why we have to create landing spaces for young people like that. You know, those young people that go to alternative school, we need to have somewhere for them to land when they get out of school or even doing school, where those programs are there to help them find ways to change the way they think about things and all of that. So there's a way that we can do all of this, but the greatest way for us to do it is by coming together and exemplifying love and letting those young people know we're not going to leave them. Not going to leave them.
Let's go to David next. David, good morning. Hi, David.
Hey, good morning, Nick. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Just a comment, and perhaps Mr. Johnson could respond. It's an observation for juveniles and crime in particular. Is there a lack of trust and a thirst for power? And is what could be or what is being attempted to change the culture of a lack of trust and the power of being educated?
And I'm sorry, when you say lack of trust, what are you referring to there? Trust of whom, between whom?
Okay, well, for an example, you know, a young person or any person, if someone will catch their ear with a positive or suggest to them that they can have this or do this, whether it's legal or illegal, if someone will provide them just a voice to be heard, they're going to be swayed or persuaded to go with a crowd or a group, and that could be negative. It could be a negative influence, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe some of these young folks are looking to be heard, and they will gravitate to the person who will listen to them.
Okay.
And that could be that could be a negative influence.
Yeah, or it could be a positive one.
So, absolutely, yes. But it's whoever will lend them their ear is what I'm trying to point out.
I see. Yeah, no, that's a great point. So it's getting their ear and getting there as a positive influence instead of a negative one.
Well, in that sense, most young people, all they want is someone to listen. What has happened, and what happens a lot, is an adult tells them, back in my day. Well, we're not back in your day, we in today. So therefore, we need to deal with the things that's right in front of that young person and or ahead of that young person, because back in the day has nothing to do. Doesn't apply. But if you listen, the young person will tell you what they need, what's wrong, and everything. That is where I think we can train groups, organizations, and people to understand that listening is one of the greatest tools that we can have. And when you listen, think about it, when you go to your counselor. What does a counselor usually do? They repeat what you say quite a bit, because the enemy is the enemy.
Right.
Things that's going on, you tell yourself, and then you tell the counselor, if you're going to a counselor, what's wrong and what needs to be done. Then the counselor repeats it. You'd be like, oh, wow, I never thought about it like that. But you did. You spoke it. The only reason the counselor knew is because they were listening. They have a trained ear. They are a trained profession. And that is what I'm looking forward to doing, is training others to be able to hear the young person, know what their hurts and their woes are, and then try and address it head on.
We've just got a couple minutes left. I just want you to put out there for the community that's watching. All right, so did you say you have some meetings coming up or listening where you're going to be in the community, or how can you get interaction with the folks or feedback on things, or folks who want to get involved?
One of the things you can do, you can go now onto our website, the Metro Government website. We're going to have up on a hub here today or tomorrow, sometime this week possibly, where those nonprofits that are out there that has a budget of less than $50,000 or less, they can apply for some of the funding that we have, which is around $5,000 for right now. It's not a whole lot, but it's a seed. It's an opportunity to be a part of something that we're trying to create by bringing them all together. And then hopefully we'll be able to help them, one, get everything that they need as a nonprofit together to be able to apply for more opportunities along the way. They'll be able to do that. And all I can say is we're still building everything that we are trying to do to be what I believe, that beacon, that city that can show the country that change is possible, but it's going to take us all. We cannot do this alone. It's going to take every last one of us here in Nashville to be the change.
And if someone wants to reach out to you, or if they have suggestions or ideas?
They can reach out to me via my email. It's ron.johnson@nashville.gov. That would be the easiest way to reach out to me, and let me know what they're doing, if they are a nonprofit or an organization that's doing some things out there. And if they're not, if they're doing some things that's positive, edifying, uplifting to our communities, it'd be great to know who they are so we can bring them in on the team and get them off of the bench and figure out how can we do this together.
And again, you've been at this now for 2 months as the coordinator of this once the mayor created it. So what kind of timetable? I know this will go on forever, the idea of, trying to address the community, but for you, when do you want to start seeing some tangible things happen? As you said, you've really spent the past 2 months kind of laying the groundwork and getting prepared.
So time to me is like evolution or
whatever it takes.
It's like whatever it takes. There's no time to anything, although that may not comfort anyone who may be going through some tough times. I lost my mother in 1985. That time hadn't changed that feeling that I have.
Yeah.
So the time, I know if I could do it and snap my finger and say everything's going to be great, that's what I would do. If I could be the sacrifice, that the lamb that would take it all and the rest of the city would be in peace, and I'll be willing to do that. But we know that without a doubt it's going to take effort, it's going to take hard work, it's going to take dedication, and it's going to take severe surrendering of doing your part. You can't do all those, your part, whatever that is. And I guarantee in my spirit, I truly believe that if everybody do their part, we'll probably say, you know what, that dude was all right, because all he did was wanted to bring people together.
I sure hope it works. Well, listen, Ron, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And as things develop and there are some more tangible things we can talk about, come back on, all right?
I sure will.
It's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
Take a break. I'll be back wrapping things up with a programming note about tomorrow right after this. Stay with us.